address, I would now like to extend a warm welcome to Mr. Murli, Regional Sales Director, CrowdStrike, to address us on next redefining the narratives of modern security. A warm welcome to you, sir. Let's put our hands together, please.
Hi, good morning once again. You have an entire day to go. The energy level is already down at 11 a.m. Good morning. That's better. Thank you very much. Before I start off, I just want to narrate a situation that I went through in CrowdStrike. I joined CrowdStrike on the 15th of April this year. 3 weeks from then, I had attended an event that we were hosting, and I met a customer. I was introduced to the customer. The first thing the customer told me was thank you. He didn't even mention his name, which company he's from. He said, thank you. I was obviously taken aback and said, why? He said, you saved my job, saved the branding of my company, your company, and probably the stock value of the organization I work for. I said, really? Okay, that's nice to know. I said, how? He said, your team woke me up at 5:36. That's not the time I wake up normally, but your team woke me up at 5:36 a.m. in the morning and informed me there's something coming into your infrastructure. You need to go attend it. And he said, I had to really pull myself out of the bed, go to the office, attend to it, and your team worked with me to mitigate the challenge or the risk that was coming into my organization. I said that was very heartwarming for a guy who was just 3 weeks in the company, and I started digging as how do we actually do it, because there's still a new employee there. So what we found was, or what I found was, we actually keep a track of this huge work that happens at every endpoint, cross-domain, a lot of access that every individual does. So we keep a track of what's happening, and there's a pattern that actually gets picked up from each individual. And when we zoom out, we actually see this is the pattern that every organization has, right? What are people accessing? Where are they accessing? How long have been there? And who's accessing it? Right? So when we did all this, we actually also found out, fine, we are doing all this, but what are the challenges the customers actually have? Now, what we actually discovered was many customers do have fantastic point product solutions in place, right? That's great, but when you look at the pattern is actually across the infrastructure from different applications, different infrastructures of hardware, different tools being used. So point products probably is not the way to look at, because you're not able to connect the dots because all of them are working in silos. And this is the situation across 60% of the organizations, and most of the intrusions get through because the products are used independently or autonomously or in siloed ways, and 60% of the intrusions just pass through. Now, what happens to the balance 40%? The balance 40% is where the, I think it's fun part for the IT and the security team. You actually have very tight security solutions at one end, things like DLP. I'm sure most of the business people don't like a DLP, because you restrict them from copy-paste, you restrict them from sending an email out or an attachment. They don't like it, but the organization wants it. On the other end, you have very light, easy-going security solutions, basically driven by compliance. People just want to tick mark. I want to tick the box. I want to get my audit report clean. That's why I go ahead and do that. So the remaining 40% happens in the intrusions, is overlooked by these problems. Added to this, the nature of attack has changed. It is no longer just a malware. Now it is, trust me, it's more on identity. Identity has become the single biggest problem for organizations across the world. Stealing identity is a challenge that customers, our organizations, are trying to protect on. Added to this, you have even SaaS models being broken. That means the adversaries are able to even go into the platforms of vendors, and then the cloud. You will also hear about cloud being intruded, applications being broken, data being stolen even from the cloud environment. So the nature of attack has changed. Plus the digital transformation. There's a huge, tremendous transformation that we have been seeing for the past few years. And that transformation, trust me, I don't think we in our generation imagine. Look at the number of IoT devices. There are more IoT devices than human beings on the planet as of today, right? 63% of the world's population have access to internet. That's huge amount of transformation that we have seen And in our organizations also, the amount of adoption of information technology is very high. Plus, as Meera also was mentioning, 85% of all applications will move to cloud by the end of 2025. That's a phenomenally large part of your organization moving out of your data center to somebody else's data center, but that's the reality and how it's going to work. Now, this gets complicated with problem in skilled manpower. This is something, I think it's a race, probably will not win, honestly. Let's see the gap. 3.5 million people are needed worldwide. That means every cybersecurity expert has a job. In APJ, we have 1.4 million cybersecurity roles to be filled up, and India is not far behind. The report says almost 70% of Indian companies are not able to fill up critical cybersecurity roles. People are just not available, right? So what is that makes it even more complicated is the traditional infrastructures that have been running in organizations. One, cybersecurity has become a mission critical work. So there's a lot of eyes on the CISO office and the CIO office. Even though they may not get the accolades they deserve, but there's a lot of eyes on them for sure to deliver and protect the mission critical infrastructure. Second, traditionally, organizations have gone and deployed very good solutions that address a particular problem. That's great. But what has happened? It's made it very fragmented. It's become very siloed. All of them work independently. They don't talk to each other. You can't connect the dots. The third, the organization budgets never ever matches up the growth of the company. I really would like to meet a CIO or CISO. I have a lot of money, I can invest in anything I want. It doesn't happen that way, right? Your budgets will never match the growth of the organization. And last but not the least, your organization or customer's organization would have moved from 100 to 1,000 people, 1,000 to 10,000, 10,000 to 50,000. You still have only 24 hours to manage. Actually speaking, time is a soft adversary because we're racing against it and we are only so much that we can do in 24 hours. You add to, and it gets complicated when you have skill set problem, budget problem, fragmented infrastructure, time actually becomes your biggest adversary, right? So we wanted to explore and see what happened, what's happening. So we came out with a threat report early this year, 2024 threat report, and we found out three very interesting facts. One, 50% of the breaches are because of identity, which I mentioned. Second, 75% of the intrusions were happening across the cloud. That means cloud is becoming the new playground for adversaries. They can actually play on the cloud because a lot of people need to realize, or they don't realize, is there's a very thin difference between security off the cloud and security in the cloud. That thin line is what is being exploited, and that's why 75% of new intrusions are on the cloud as of today. Then cross-domain attacks are becoming, because it's once you get into one place, they're able to go to the next one, and cross-domain attacks are becoming very, very common of late. So what is that's needed that helps us mitigate the challenges that we are having today? The first one, obviously, is to stop the breach. Nothing else beats this particular point. We really have to stop the breach. The technologies that we buy or deployed have to do their job. They have to stop the breach from happening. Second, consolidate into a single platform. Why? Fragmented doesn't work. Skill set is a problem. You cannot connect the dots by having isolated solutions running. Last, cost is going to be a pressure going forward, right? It's always been a pressure. It will continue to be a pressure. So you have to focus on TCO and reduce the complexity so that you're able to get the best out of the investments that's actually happening. So let's see how we can address these, right? To do that, you need to have a new narrative. And the new narrative can actually come in three ways. One, have the people-centric approach. Second, look at using data. There's immense amount of data available everywhere. How can we use the data? Third is the platform approach. Now, the people-centric approach, every organization has got a lot of information. You have threat intels from outside, you have internal data, third-party data, you have AI models running, right? How can I bring all this together to ensure that the people who are managing my infrastructure are able to deliver what they're supposed to deliver, right? They need to deliver in terms of time, they need to ensure it's secure, do it and they also need to know how they're going to do it. And these are people like incident responders, threat hunters, analysts, and data scientists. For them to do it, you need to bring the siloed parts into one place, and that's when people will start delivering. When you bring it is when people will actually have enough information with them to deliver what they're expected and give you better security. Next is data-centric approach. At CrowdStrike, we are masters in collecting data. We have almost close to 27 to 30,000 customers worldwide, millions and millions of endpoints running our solutions. We are collecting trillions of data. And that data is actually while we're tracing almost 200, 250 adversaries globally, we are collecting that data, and that data actually then comes back for us to start using it. We collect it, we actually train it by putting a lot of AI algorithms into it, we make information sense out of it, look at the knowledge that we can get out of using that data, put that into the new solutions or send it to the existing customers so we can protect that in a better way, and then again collect the same data back again from the same customers. So it's a virtuous cycle that we run, and this is what's going to make us become more proactive with customers. Or you can become more proactive by having advanced information based on historical analysis and the AI giving you what can actually happen in the future. So using data is going to be very, very critical. Next, let's look at the platform. Now, we all talk about, so what? Platform is there, what should a platform do, how it should work. First, a platform should be flexible and open. That means I should be able to deploy what I want when I want it. And when I say what I want when I want it, it's actually be unified by design. That means everything has to come out from the soul of the platform, where it starts from. It can't be like, one new solution that comes in will not talk with it or has got no connection. I have to, probably involve third-party consultants. No, it's actually from the soul of the platform. Next, native, not stage. If I bring in from some other solution, it also has to go back to the same heart of the platform so that everything can work together. Then, infinite customizations, build new applications, build new workflows, build new experiences for people. The platform should be able to give you all that, right? Because there is an investment going in, there is an expectation from people, there are solutions that are being deployed, you have to make that an experience. Remember, at the end of the day, you're trying to make people work better. And if there are no good experiences, it's going to be very difficult. And why are workflows becoming very important? Because you need to ensure teams work together. And the only way teams can work together is been proven is have good workflows, where information flows from one to the other and everybody sees the same information across the organization. The last, the power of zero. What is the power of zero we're talking about? The power of zero is about no downtime for anything that you want to use or anything you want to deploy. No reboots. Imagine an organization of 10,000 endpoints. Every time you put a new module, reboot, just imagine the productivity loss. So a platform should be able to offer all these 5 things which will make your life easier, and you don't need to be worried about, I'm investing so much, how I'm going to protect, am I going to be questioned? And I'm a very firm believer, CISOs run and CIOs run a very thankless job, right? I don't think anybody comes and pats a CIO or a CISO's team and say, you're doing a great job on an everyday basis. They don't do that. But if something doesn't go well, they're pulled up for the next 1 year, right? That's the fact and that's the reality. So you need to have a platform that does these 5 things which will help you sleep better at night. So what should the platform actually do? It should be, first objective of platform is to protect. It should help you in protection. It should be AI enabled, so it's very fast. It should be one of the market leaders for sure, because you don't want to go justify any investment internally, so you're easy to take a decision. Second, you should be able to manage it better. Single console, single agent, single platform. Go back to the slide I spoke about skill set issue. The more agents you have, the more consoles you have, the more skill set problem you get into. So if you're going to have single agent, single console, that problem gets mitigated to a large extent. Scale. You should be able to start small, grow as you need to. You should be able to add solutions or products or also increase the number of users. So that shouldn't be a challenge at all. It should be a snap of a finger. Fourth, innovation. how can the platform use the data, the information that's there, not only internal but also from external, where I can corroborate, bring all of them, make all of them work together, and come out with new solutions, upscale my existing platform or upscale the existing technologies that I have so I can deliver better results. So that innovation has to be there. Last but not the least, is adoption. No reboots and fast onboarding. Trust me, we have experiences where we have onboarded customers 120,000 endpoints over a weekend. 120,000 endpoints over a weekend. And all this is possible when we look at building everything on the soul of the platform. That red dot you see is the soul of CrowdStrike's platform. And that red dot is the one that gives all these 20 plus solutions on a single platform from CrowdStrike. We bring this with one single agent, one single console, managing all these technologies that we sell, right? Now, what are we trying to do by doing this? Change the narrative. You have to be very clear that this slide is not going to change in the near future. The time adversary problem is not going to change. You're fragmented till you take tough decisions is not going to change. Your budgets, the pressure on spending is not going to change. So you have to change the narrative, and for that, choosing the platform is the right way. Thank you very much for coming in. Hope it was informative. Have a good conference. Thank you.